This whole film is all about as ambitious a cinematic event as I've kind of planned so far in my career. I tried to write a script that I didn't know how to pull it off, and then assemble a team to help me pull it off. This is one of these days and these weeks where it feels really good to be a director.
What's a bad miracle? They got a word for that?
Hi everybody, this is Philip Martin. This is On Film for July 22nd, 2022. And you just saw a little featurette about the big movie this week, Nope, which is the big movie this week. I think it's the only only new theatrical offering we have. It's Jordan Peele's third film. It seems hard to believe he's only made 3 films. And I've already seen people talking about his evolution as a filmmaker, and I'm not sure I agree that he's evolved as a filmmaker. I think he's sort of sprung forth, fully formed, like from the head of, Athena came from the head of Zeus, I don't remember. But like Athena, he's there, with Get Up, Get Out, which really is a very well realized film. I mean, it's not just a good first film, it's a great film. Yeah, he had a lot of support. He had a lot of advantages a lot of first time filmmakers don't have, in that he is Jordan Peele and that he was known quantity, and he had done these other things. So he was given, the keys and had some resources and a budget and some access to some actors and stuff like that. Yet, it's even so, give him all credit for making this really tight, really well realized, rookie film. It's hard to do that. His second film, Us, and this is just a personal observation, I thought it was a little bit less than Get Out. It wasn't quite as funny. It wasn't as funny at all, actually. I didn't think it was it was an effective horror movie. I thought the messaging was a little less sharp, was a little less nuanced, and was a little bit... I'm not sure. There still seems to me to be a ambivalence and ambiguity to that film that I'm not sure serves it. I think that... I don't know. I just don't think Us is as good a film. I think it's a good film. I think it's a good, scary movie. I don't think it's as good a film as, Get Up, Get Out. I keep calling it Get Up, Get Out. But even so, you got now your third film. Your third film, and you just saw that Peele says this is his most ambitious cinematic event yet. And it does sound kind of ponderous when people say things like that, but it's true. And I think that what I really like about Nope is that it is so audacious. It's really a big swing. It's really a big rip at trying to make a movie that's kind of like Jaws, or Close Encounters of the Third Kind. It's really kind of a heavy special effects, heavy movie about a lot of things. It's about old Hollywood. It's about, of course, it's about race in America. It's about American, inurement to violence, basically. It's about family. And it's very deep, very interesting and deep, yet it's probably his funniest film. It starts, okay, and the idea is that Daniel Kaluuya and his sister, Kiki Palmer, own the last black-owned horse training and services center in the Hollywood area for motion pictures. That's basically their job, is to provide horses and locations for motion pictures. It's a family business, and we see that the paterfamilias, Keith David, he dies early on in the film. We see how he dies. He dies in an unusual way. And you get these two having to come together to decide how to keep the horse ranch going. And there are echoes of the Spawn Ranch, the Manson, hangout. And there's some tension in the OJ, Kaluuya's character, is, kind of this withdrawn, sort of introverted guy who mainly communicates by staring intently at you, while his sister is this effervescent, her name is M for Emerald, wannabe writer, director, producer. She wants to be in the film business, and the horse thing is just sort of it's sort of a family thing. It's a sideline. She's kind of got to do it. Kind of can't let it go right yet, but it's not what she wants to make of her life. So there's a little tension there. It's her side gig. There is something. These siblings have not always gotten along. They don't particularly mix well. One thing that's really sort of an interesting thing that Peele seeds into this thing is that they are the descendants of the unnamed and I guess unknown black jockey who's in Edward Muybridge's 1878 film, The Horse Race, the very first film ever made. Film of this horse running with a jockey on his back. That is their ancestors. So it's like they were there before the birth of motion pictures, because you would say that was the Luminari brothers in 1894 or whatever. So anyway, 20 years before that, maybe. Oh, so they go way back into this business. Near them, there is near the Haywood Ranch, their ranch, is a theme park. It's kind of a weird, kitschy thing that's run by this former child star, Ricky Jupe, Jupe Park, Steve Ewan, who has opened this thing called Jupiter Park, and he's monetized sort of his past and his old suffering and stuff. His thing as a child, he's exploiting his exploited past is what he's doing, and he's making overtures to the Haywoods to buy their property. He's already bought some of their horses, but it's sort of a frenemy kind of relationship. It's he's exploiting himself in the sort of the same way the industry exploited him as a kid. It's kind of an interesting sort of little twist to this little wrinkle in the story, Then, as you probably can piece together from the trailers and all that, strange things start happening. Kind of goes back to how Keith David gets killed. But anyway, there's stuff in the sky. and they can't photograph it because it knocks out electricity. So this Wim Wenders type of documentarian shows up, or actually not Wim Wenders, more of a I don't know. He's played by Michael Wincott, and Michael Wincott is a wonderful English actor who, if you were looking to cast somebody to play a heroin addict, say, like a British heroin addict in the 1990s, early 1990s, late 1980s, he would probably be your first call. You know, he is this documentary named Antler's host, and a cinematographer. He comes up with a way to film these phenomena, and I'm not going to say anything else about the plot. You could probably will figure it out. You'll see the movie, whatever. I think it's the most fun you're going to have for a while. It's 2 movies have really popped this year, maybe 3, and this pops in sort of the same ways as those. That one is everything. Everywhere All at Once. 2 would have to be, even though I've made fun of it and I enjoyed it, I'm just saying that it was really funny to see everybody making these claims for it, is Top Gun Maverick. And then this is the 3rd. I mean, sort of like, this is probably my favorite film, at least of the summer. Your mileage may differ. It is more of a, it's more subtle in its social messaging than Get Out. Way more subtle than Us, I think. And I think that people who don't particularly like those movies because they don't like to think about those kinds of things in movies, probably going to enjoy this anyway. I do think that it's subtle and nuanced enough that you can ignore it if you want to. And if you don't want to ignore it, well, then it's something to really dig into and pull out and maybe see this film 3 or 4 times. I'm not going to see it 3 or 4 times, but I do think it's really good. And I think that Pierce's review in our newspaper is pretty fair. So I'm going to leave you now with another featurette from it, and we'll be back right after that with just a little wrap-up, okay? See ya.
First time I heard about it, no, Jordan called me. Like, yeah, I'm doing a film. He's like, oh yeah, what's it about?
This film's about many things, but in its core, this movie is about a brother and sister, OJ and Emerald.
As the only black-owned horse trainers in Hollywood, since the moment pictures could move, we had skin in the game.
OJ is the one that stayed. He runs the ranch. He's just in a place where everything is unraveling. And his sister comes back into his life, and he's remembered like, oh man, you're not doing anything. You're not helping.
We chilling tonight or what? Emerald Haywood doesn't really have a lot going on, doesn't really know everything she's talking about, but she's got charisma, and she really doesn't know where she's going.
We have the great Daniel Kaluuya, my all-time favorite actor. He's somebody that forced me to push to unlock further things in the character. And Keke Palmer, she has this spark. She just crushes.
So the relationship, as close as it really is, you might not really be able to tell until shit really hits the fan.
It's about their ability to go from not connecting to acknowledging they have always seen each other.
There's just innate love for each other. The brother, sister, being friends, you know what I'm saying, being real. I have rarely seen that.
Let's go, boy! I'm trying to save you. My brother is out there. Should I do it?
Thumbs up, thumbs up!
One of the cool things about, well, being me, I guess, about writing about stuff like movies and music and stuff like that is occasionally you get surprises in the mail, and I got one today. This is pretty cool. No one else is going to know this film. Dona, Flor, and her 2 husbands. Okay, if you were alive in the 70s, maybe you remember this. This is like, I think this is the film that put Sonia Braga on the on the map. I mean, it was for a long time. It was the biggest box office hit in Brazil. I think that finally, God, did Jaws overtake it? I for a long time, but it certainly was a lot. For 40 years, it was the biggest Brazilian movie in Brazil and probably in the world. I think Central Station maybe caught it in the U.S. anyway. But and I was in Brazil when this came out, and or maybe a little. I was there in 77. This comes out in 76. So, but it was all in the theaters when I was there, and I remember watching it, and even in Brazil they had a subtitled version that was playing. Even in 77, you had a subtitled version that was playing, so I could watch it. But what I remember most of all this was, and I don't think it's this film. I'm gonna have to watch this film again. But I think it was a trailer for another film. It was very funny because there is this imperious woman who was being served tea or something, and the young man who's serving her tea, looks at her or something. And she just looks at him and very imperiously goes, "No sex for servants," which was sort of the attitude of this film. This is Dona, Flor, and her two husbands. Her irresponsible husband dies and then comes back as a ghost, and he's with them always. It is Sonia Braga is bewitchingly beautiful, people said, and Rex Reed said it was highly romantic, rousing, and resonant. A classic erotic comedy. Gary Arnold, who I don't know who that is, from the Washington Post. I think that must be contemporary. It must have been in the 70s that he said that. Marvelously funny, Time Magazine. Okay, we are going to watch this, and it's funny because I would never have told you, I would never have thought of this movie. I never would have thought of the title. But as soon as I opened the package today and I saw the artwork, I remembered it. And I remembered it, and I said, oh, God, we got to watch this. If only so I could show Karen what Rio de Janeiro looked like when I lived there. Because I believe this was filmed in Rio. It may have been filmed in Sao Paulo, but I think it was filmed in Rio. That looks like Rio on the cover. It looks like a drawing of Rio behind them. And I'll revisit something that I haven't seen in almost 50 years. And I wonder how much of it's going to come back like, boom, because sometimes films do that. Sometimes, I'll see something I know I saw, and I won't remember hardly any of it. But sometimes they all just come rushing back in this sort of interesting way that movies have. I told my class last week, when we're doing Ace in the Hole, the Billy Wilder film this week, by the way, in case we just did it, I guess it's... I told him last week, it's sort of like the closest thing we have to a actual time machine where we can be transported back to this actual feeling that we had when we saw this film. I mean, songs are sort of like that. But I think that movies have even this stronger way of dislocating us or pulling us out of time. They remove us from time and let us step back and look at what's going on. So anyway, that's it for this week. We have Nope, and we have Dona Flora. This is great. Great week. We'll see you next week. Take care.